As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Some politicians lacking brains said in voices dripping sweet, we don't really need these trains, railroads all are obsolete. They're union strong, it makes demands. They guard their yards with railroad dicks who kick our cops clean off their lands, do not like our politics. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. So the politicians passed some laws to screw more money off the trains and deeper dip their pudgy paws in more control of railroad gains. The railroad said, get off our land. They went on strike to show their peak. The grain trains stopped their rolling and the city starved within a week. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains. Hunger riots burned and rose and battered down the State House door, and all those fat politicos were killed and eaten by the poor. And with the city out of joint and no more politician men, the railroad said they'd proved their point and sent the grain trains down again. As I was going up from town, I met the grain trains rolling down. Every day 100 trains, every train 100 cars, every car 100 tons, every ton 100 sacks, every sack 10,000 grains. And that's what cities get from trains.
Good morning, Minecraft. How you doing? Wandering Beekeeper here. Welcome. Good to be here. It is, let me see, 46 degrees fondly Fahrenheit here in the Pacific Northwest this rainy morning. So, in other words, it's, it's Saturday. Content warning real quick. I am inappropriate for all audiences. I'm an old queer man with 2 trans kids and one who's still deciding where they're going. We got run out of Tennessee by political violence, and I will talk about our lived experience and a bunch of other things, and I swear a lot, and I live in a legal state, and so I talk about weed, and yeah. I think I've hit about everything here. Oh, and in regard to the opening song, one should never eat the rich. You'll get gout and put yourself at risk for prion diseases that way. No, no, no. You know how much fertilizer and bone meal you can get out of processing one of those? Oh my gosh, people. Give them to the veg. The garden will love you for it. Appropriate use of resources. Hello, Game God. Let's see what you do. Neues Telefonia Costa Ira. Oops. Pow. There we go. About time. Setting the screen capture. Lord, I need to put up a sign above my monitor, above my gaming monitor, that says, "Did you set your screen cap?" Oh, terrible about it. Sorry about that. So, Minecraft. Trains. Specifically, train. We've seen the blue line before in a previous episode. This is the standard gauge line. Right now, this is the only train on the standard gauge line. It has 2 freight cars. Oh, gosh dog it. Excuse me. My body is deciding to do things that interfere with my speech. Huh. 2 freight cars. Now has 2 passenger cars. I've added a couple of passenger cars to the blue line. Now, there's no step here just yet. That would actually be easy enough to take care of in all likelihood. Let's see. Let's look at, oh, wait a minute. No, go to cast. Is there anything in cast iron? No, not right off. Alright, how about just plain iron? There we go. Look at that. Iron catwalk stairs. I need a couple iron catwalks. Bibbity bobbity boo. We'll make a couple of those. And toss those back in. And find those. Oops, come back here. Advancement messed me up. Alright, there we go. I swear I go through so many of these. Ugh. Here we go. Let's just grab a couple of these. And we'll, let's stick this on real quick. See if I can. No, don't register because it's not. There we go. We'll just put this up to it. There we are. Hey presto. Quaker Instant Stairway. So yeah, 4 passenger capacity. These are create train seats, and so they are integrated with the structure of the carriage, but still work as seats. So they will carry a player, character, or NPC, or, any mob, really. Okidy donkity. So yeah, got 2 passenger cars put on. More importantly, though, and this is something that was in the title of the episode, I got signals put in. And let me just find in here, where are my train signals? There we go. And so that I have them in my hand and you can see the lines. Here we are. Because you can see the color change. What a track signal does, and this is in real life as well as in Minecraft, is it breaks the track into segments. Safety in trains is based on control of how many trains are in an area and moving which direction at any given moment. You only allow 1 train per segment. Now, in the old days, you actually had a signal token, and the driver of the train would reach out the window of the locomotive, and a rail worker would be standing by the side of the rail and would run alongside the train and to grab the token as the train went by coming out of the segment, or would hand up a token to a train going into a segment, and you were only allowed to drive through a segment if you were physically carrying the token for that segment. You had to actually have that token in your hand. Compare this to the modern Japanese point-and-call system, which, by the way, works incredibly well, and the neurodivergent folks sort of rolled our eyes and said, well, we knew that. The neurotypicals finally started doing things our way, and god damn, it worked. So, a train in the yellow segment cannot cross into the green segment if there's already a train in the green segment. Right now the signal is clear. We got a white light. Let's look at our map and see where our trains are. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so I can see a little faster who's where. Gosh, everybody's off to the west, to the east here. Where is everybody? Oh, there we go. Here's the Emerald Queen. She is on her way down past the Diamond Station. No? That's the copper chunk. The Emerald Queen is at the copper mine. Okay. Villa Raffinia, where are you? Honey, there you are. You are out at the diamond mine. All right, so I have 2 broad gauge trains now. We saw Villa Raffinia last week. Got her fixed, by the way. Everything is working now. What's going to happen here, they're both going to be using a segment here. Let me just U to the diamond chunk here real quick. And up, 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 up with the fish. Here we go. Let's see if we can catch her lift before she leaves. Oops. Grab the deadhead seat. There we go. All right. Both of my big locos now have a deadhead seat behind the conductor, and I can reach over the conductor and drive the train myself from here if I need to. All I have to do is take the schedule away from the conductor, and that puts the train in manual mode. So, got that all sorted. And we're just going to sit here a second. And while we're sitting here, I'm going to look at this because we're going to head out. Oh, we're heading out. And we're going to be heading across here and getting to a point here where we're going to merge onto a track that the Emerald Queen is also running on. Whoops. Let's just ride along with the train for a minute here. Maybe a little choppy because I'm streaming from the same machine I'm running the game from. I've only got the one laptop, folks. This is all running off a Lenovo IdeaPad under MX Linux. So we head on across. Get a nice long ride here. It should be just ahead of the next tunnel. Where are you? Nope, I was not where I thought I was. There we are. Now look here. We come around and we just go right on because we've got clear signals. We know the Emerald Queen isn't anywhere around us. I'm going to ride on up. I should, if everything is clear, shortly arrive at the Emerald Mine, at which point I can bail and show you the next signal, the next switch, where we have actually a series of zones for access around the factory. Okay, here's the emerald mine. We'll come to a halt with the loco on the curve, at which point I'm going to bail. The Villa Raffinia does not need me to travel anyway. She's got her own conductor. We're going to go see where she's going. And let's just, all right, so we're in a yellow segment right now. We're going to truck along here. And you see up ahead that little extension there, that is not a station, that is a signal. And that breaks a new segment here that covers this back to about here. So if a train is coming up this way and has entered this zone at this point, trains coming from that direction will be stopped here and held until the green zone is clear. The green segment goes up to the curve where there is a waiting point for the segment that leads to the factory. And all of this keeps the trains from colliding. And then there is another signal just past the station. Here's the station. There's another signal just past the station, well ahead of the nose of the locomotive, so that the station can clear once the tail end of the train clears that. Once the train moves out of the station and is fully into the green zone, the next train will be released and can come up into the yellow zone. Basically how railroad signals work in real life. Oh, hi. And here is Villa Raffinia coming in, which lets us show off the display board, the schedule board. This is a temporary schedule board put together so that I could remember how to do it. We've got live data here. Villa Raffinia is going next to Gold Station and is in the station now, which means that we also see her name here and that she is departing in 4 minutes. Woof, woof, woof. Yeah, we got wolves on the hill here. That's going to be unfortunate because I'm about to knock this whole hill out in order and put in a brass elevator going up into the factory. When I do, I'll replace the creative motor and put up the display board and maybe a more visible area. I think I need to take out a bit here so that the crew can exit the cab. Clean this up a bit. It takes 3 display links to make that work. There are 2 on the train station here, as you can see. One of the display links at the top gives me the train station summary. That's the big display that tells about all the trains that pass through this station. And it lets me set the column size and platform column size and yada, yada, yada. It's got some optional stuff here. Important thing is this display link is producing the top 2 lines. I know there's only going to be 2 lines because there's only 2 trains. So this one takes the train schedule status, which is not the name of the train. It's just looking at what is your status. Are you arriving? Are you departing? If you're departing, how long from now? And it puts it on line 5. And then back here, there's a train observer. There was that square wimmy diddle on the track between the station and the signal. That was a train observer. The train observer detects the name of the train. And that's all it does. It has no other function, but it puts the name of the train here while she's in station, and then underneath it, the station link puts the status departs in 2 minutes. And this will all update as trains go by. The Emerald Queen says Infraloop because that's the name of the schedule she's running on. Okay, departs in 1 minute. Oh. This is the Jewel Loop train, which, as you can see what she's carrying from the materials I've used to build the cars. The cars aren't actually reserved, but they are. But I do position them at the mines so that at the gold mine, the gold car is the one positioned for loading. You know, as you do. I could put anything in them, which is how the Blue Line's freight cars are going to be working. Let's go into the factory and just kind of walk around a minute for a minute here. Hark, hark, a dog does bark. Don't know if you can hear that. E string is wound up again. So let's go check here at the main panel. We've got interesting things here now happening. There's diamond, there's emerald, there's gold, and there's lapis coming in. The lapis comes in its basic state and doesn't have to have any processing. The gold comes in as raw ore, and because I'm using create ore extraction, I get raw emerald and raw diamond, which have to be processed. And so I have a processing room. Not doing anything at the moment, but but the auto furnaces here are running copper, iron, zinc, and over here gold, except that don't have any gold in right now for processing. That one runs emerald, raw emerald. To process raw emerald into usable emerald, you just run it over a sawmill. Apparently, the mechanical saw is capable of handling diamond cutting because we're dropping raw industrial diamond on the belt and feeding it to a mechanical saw, and it gets processed from raw diamond into usable diamond. And we've got all this industrial diamond now. I mean, seriously. Got enough I can very easily just out of the going to make this. See if I get the Chivo here. Ta-da! E? No? Must have already done diamond armor. Oh well. It was a thought. Plug it into there. Boo. Now, let's go look upstairs and see what's going on up there, because there's some stuff. Whoa, there's some stuff. It's getting to be some stuff. Next step has been made. We come around to the boiler room and have a look here. Here's the big beast itself, the boiler. The copper warden, or whatever the heck. I mean, it's a beast. And yeah, it drives the redstone grinder, which we've seen previously. The redstone comes in from the mine as raw redstone, has to be put through a millstone or a set of crushing wheels. The millstone takes an awful lot less space and is so much easier to make. You know? And I can just feed straight into the millstone, right down at the bottom of the chute, and away we go. Over here, I've got 6 alternators running, each turning out 90 FE per tick, feeding into accumulators which have a capacity of 40 MFE. Eventually, I'm going to have electrical power going here. I've got electricity being generated, and I've got it being stored. I'm capturing the output. I don't have transmission lines put in yet. The elevator will be electrically powered. So, I will run a wire from here over to an electric motor that will run the elevator once I get it put in. It's going to be a little bit. You're not going to see it this week, I can guarantee that. Building an elevator is non-trivial. I've done it before. Go see previous streams. Previous Create Trains streams up on YouTube. I did an elevator from ground up to a sky platform, and also did an elevator that traveled between all 3 floors of a woodland mansion. I do love the woodland mansion. I mean, you've noticed that. It's such a handy thing. I was able to just plop this one in, and hey presto, quicker instant factory. So, what do we got going here? Oh dear. Wolf is on the track. Wolf, that is not a good place for you to be. The good news is it's going to be 8 minutes before the Emerald Queen arrives, and a while before Bilarafenia comes back. She is off to the Jewel Loop. So, some of this doesn't need as much. I went on and put a set of signals around this switch just because it's best practices. But this is an outbound, and the Emerald Queen goes that way, and Bilarafenia goes that way, and there's only one train on this track segment according to the schedule. Let's see where our trains are at the moment. Okay, Bilarafenia is on her way to the diamond mine, and the Emerald Queen is where? I get the feeling I should see her. She's at the zinc chunk. Oh, well, if she's at the zinc chunk, she's going to be at the factory momentarily in just a couple minutes. Let's run back to the factory, because she's carrying, let me think. No, she's not carrying diamond. We want to wait for Bila Raffinia to come back to the factory to see the processing room in action. All right, squirrel. Don't mind me. Let's get back to here and back to the blue line. Blue line is still on manual. And at this point, let's see, let's take the blue line out. And put her in station at Zorbital. I take no responsibility for any of the weird names. Most of them are coming from... Okay, so I have the capability of freight loading here. I don't know what I might be loading. And this is a rural village. They grow pumpkins. It's not even that great a village. It's kind of, their paths are in terrible shape. They grow pumpkins and hay. So, I don't know, maybe that's what they're producing. I don't know if they're producing enough to ship off. They're obviously producing rather a lot of hay. There's plenty of it around. And who's this guy? You're unemployed. Indeed. There's room here for some sort of workstation. What have I got? What could I use? What could they use? They're agricultural. They don't seem to have any livestock. I already had a farmer. I'm looking to see if I've got any workstations already made. Not seeing anything here. Okay. Well, how about I make a cauldron? Well, if I make a cauldron, that's a leather worker, and there's no cows here. There's also no sheep, so a loom doesn't make any sense. Can I make a lectern? Oh, looks like it. Okay. Let's make a lectern and give this unemployed villager something to do. There. There is now a workstation in there if you haven't wandered off. Goober. I'm not sure what I'm going to be picking up and delivering here. You know, I feel like I want to build a railway station here. So, in some sort of rural type of thing. I'm just not sure what they're going to be loading other than pumpkins and hay bales. I guess that's going to be what's sitting on the cargo platform. We'll think about it. I've gone around and put in markers and got the stations lined up and so forth, and got these little wooden mushrooms built for where the passenger platforms will go, basically as markers. At multiple stations, multiple villages. St. Casimir is my name. The village didn't have a waystone. And it's kind of dominated by what looks like an Orthodox church. So, yeah, St. Casimir. Okay, that's the Emerald Queen leaving the factory, heading off toward Coal Station. And as you can see, she automatically diverts in order to proceed to her next scheduled destination. There's no need to have a switch operator or a mechanical switch that's operated somehow. There is no switch. The train just automatically routes onto the appropriate track to get to its destination. It paths to its destination. Kind of handy that you don't have to manage your switches. Ooh. This area needs a station, and it needs narrow gauge. And I want to put narrow gauge connecting Jugzerzor, or Jugzerzor, however it's pronounced, to Union Station over here. Let's go survey that a second here. Can I? They do have a waystone, hence the name. And they are a small agrarian village, kind of typical. They can get up there and back down there. It is possible to path up there and back down. Okay. And then they have. I am not where I thought I was. Shit. Where the fuck am I? What am I doing way over here? There's not even rail that goes here. Where the hell am I? Oh shit. Okay. There's another Jugzerzor. Jugs are rare and jugs are Zur. Oh, good grief. Jugs are rare and jugs are Zur. They do, in fact. There we go. That looks right. This is a Badlands village. Yeah. And they are right next to the Great Temple there. So, whether this is being actively supported or this is legacy from a previous civilization and they just happen to live next to it, I'm thinking the latter. It's kind of dark in here. You know? Blocks of raw gold don't give light. There's some torches stuck up, but yeah. This place hasn't been in use in a long time. It looks like they're just sort of maintaining it rather than actually doing anything with it, but it's here. And it's going to be a destination for various reasons. Hello, cat. Let me pop up so I don't spook you so bad. I don't want to scare the cat. That is a problematic word because it is the proper term to use for when a horse reacts badly to a thing. Whether the horse is frightened or angry or whatever. But it's got another couple of connotations that are unfortunate, you know. So yeah, I got to bring rail up here. But what I want to do, I'm just trying to think about. Oh, let's see. You know, you don't necessarily have to do a straight line. I don't think a straight line is going to be possible anyway. We're going to need to do a little winding down of switchbacks and stuff here. This is rough terrain. And maybe I come down through this area and then across here with the narrow gauge rail. I really don't want to have to go up over those hills, you know. Don't take the rail over the up if you don't have to. This is going to be a Darjeeling sort of narrow gauge railway. Is there a building that I could commandeer? This is probably, that's got a kid living in it. Cannot take that. What is this? Oh, it looks rather like an, okay, this is a forager's work area. Oh. And farmer, one, wow. One bad step and you're cooked, aren't you? That would be bad. Wow. Oh, and there's mine shaft like directly under you. This is a thing. I'm gonna have to build a new structure for a rail station. And then the question is, what's my initial grade level? It's probably going to want to be the same as the base grade level of the of the village. 95, 94 maybe. 95 or 94. Maybe I can put it on a up on stilts or something on a platform. I'm not sure. I got to think about this. Okay, I've covered signals. I've shown off the blue line a bit. Here's the Emerald Queen, which is the infra loop, iron, redstone, zinc, coal, and copper. The Emerald Queen also has a deadhead seat here, so that I can hitch a lift on the train if I desire, or I can take the schedule away and drive the train manually. Problem with driving the train manually is that manual control, you can ignore the track signals. A player can drive right through a red signal and cause a collision. A conductor, a blaze conductor, cannot go past a red signal. They're simply not allowed to. And it's so you don't have collisions. Trying to think what I was wanting to put in. You just stopped at the factory. Let's go back to the factory and see if you unloaded any gems here. Or enough gems for us to see them being processed. Doesn't look like it. If the emeralds are backed up again, I'm going to be mad. Thought I got that fixed. Let's go look. Ooh, where am I? I'm caught in the machinery here. I suspect that our emeralds are not loading again. Why? They didn't load unless I was here, but the chunk is both claimed and force loaded. There shouldn't be an issue here. The M's should be loading into the train. Or maybe there just weren't enough in the process before I got there. That's always a possibility. Kind of wanted to see that going. All right. I've covered track signals, and I've covered the display board and how it works. Stop and think a minute about where I'm going here. Where I'm going is back to the blue line. I need to go over to... Oh lordy, I think it's this one. No, but I'm close. Think about where I am. Okay, here we can see I've got the little mushrooms already put up and the freight markers, and then the station is way the heck out here, which means I got to build a platform out here for the crew, for the train crew at some point. Also have to build a bridge over the tracks and the stairway down so that the passengers can get to the platform without crossing the track. You know, they're gonna have to they'll cross it at altitude on a bridge. You know, that's got some sort of safety railing. There are no train signals here because there don't need to be. There is only one train on this entire loop, so there is no possibility of collision. Yeah, that's a heck of a first step there. Definitely need to build a platform or something. What have I got right now? I mean, cast iron frame, cast iron truss is always handy. Let's just put, whoops. I was in creative mode with that earlier. Let's do a thing here real quick. I'll pop it off and out of the backpack and flip to creative, and we'll stick them up. Rather than trying to dig up more or make more or whatever, I'm just going to dump them in real quick. There's the start of a platform to, for the crew to be able to exit the train onto. We'll get this roughed in this much at least. Holy crap, they must have had to build a caisson to put this in. Wow. That's terrible. Okay. Oh, there was some story I was supposed to tell today, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Something that came up on somebody else's stream the other day, and I'm like, that is way too long a story for me to monopolize your stream and try to tell it in chat, and I should wait for my own stream to tell that story, and now I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it might have been the one about birdage. Because birdage is a nonsense poem by M. Hatta, Hatta, M.Hatta, which is an obvious pseudonym if you think about it. Okay, let's drive on to the next while I'm rambling. A friend of mine from many years ago, a guy by the name of Hollis. Hollis had a party trick. And when Really Ripped would recite this particular poem, I got it down, and I eventually made a framed scroll of the poem that I gave him for his birthday one year. He was quite taken with that. The what had happened when Hollis was in elementary school, he came home one day. Here is St. Casimir. Here is the Church of St. Casimir. Here is an obvious Orthodox church with a waystone in it for some reason. Instead of, for some reason, the waystone is in the church. And there's a librarian because, of course, there's a lectern. But, I mean, this is an Orthodox church, folks. I mean, there's really not a question here. This is St. Casimir. So Hollis came home from elementary school one day and told his father, I have to memorize a poem to recite in front of the class. And he said his father's eyes lit up with a fiendish glee that he had never seen before. And he went to his filing cabinet and came back with this particular poem. The Kerful Kerfin wings its flight. The Murdy Murfin calls, but there is no Clementite within these Gwiffian halls. O Crotheus, O Burgentine, whence have they swervelled you? The tithering henchins creel and pleen, black hangs the callet frew, but slurging through the turgid tinge I wimp the budged one, and swear this birdage to avenge with swift concastodon. And being able to recite that well into the party was Hollis's party trick. I'm not sure if the next station is underground or not. I know I got a couple where the station is underground and then I'm going to have to, like, put in an elevator or something. I went through this earlier in the week, and I'm kind of reviewing here. Besides, it's fun to drive a train. You know, a large part of why I'm doing this is because I get to drive the train. I am working on a package on a proposal for a reboot of Petticoat Junction as a leftist show where instead of where Kate Bradley is a burnt-out activist who's gotten tired of Food Not Bombs being chased out of the park by the cops. Moved herself and her 3 daughters, one of whom is trans, out to her grandfather's old motel, the Shady Rest, and reopened it as a pay-what-you-can place. The opening episode, there's a young homeless couple with 2 kids staying there until they can get on their feet again. And then there's this bougie couple who are the paying guests, and the part of the B plot is about keeping the bougie couple from making a scene over the homeless couple being there. Train. Apple horse. Okay, theoretically, there's a village here. There is a sort of a village here. There is a bamboo village here, out in the middle of the prairie for some reason. There really ought to be a lot more bamboo growing here, and these farmers seem to be playing in the water. That's fine. That's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But there ought to be some bamboo growing here. I need to do a lot of detailing and rework on this village. I mean, it looks more like they should be growing rice. Need to do some fixing on this village before I even think about putting a station here. One of the daughters, Betty Bradley, in the original show, had a bit of a thing for the cannonball, for the locomotive, and in an early episode, in like the first episode, said something about having a thing for the cannonball, and the driver said something about maybe you may someday want something that can keep you warm on a cold night, and some folks might be a little put off seeing their girlfriend crawling out of the boiler of a locomotive. This foreshadows the opening of season 2, where we introduce Steve, the crop duster pilot, who meets Betty at a scrapyard when she's crawling out of the boiler of a junked locomotive that she's scavenging for parts. Steve, by the way, is short for Stefania. He's Butch. So, got this village, they've got this, which makes it interesting. Here's an archaeological site, if nothing else. We've got a ruined portal here with a considerable amount of effort having been put in, apparently, before it went bang. There's still and the gold block is still up there. So this has been preserved. It's fun. So we've got the possibility of an archaeological research station here, someplace that's studying that and instead of mining it for parts. Nothing else. Find out why it went bang. And is there a possibility of it starting up again? Keep an eye on things like that, you know? Don't mess with it, but you want to keep an eye on it. Okay, this is Filcridia Ag Station. Well, Critia, I've already started some work on. We walk down past here to the passenger platform, where the passenger platform will be. You can see that I've blasted a tunnel through, as we have an agricultural station here rather than a village. We have multiple fields being tended and a central work area, centralized work and living area, and a mill. So yeah, this is definitely a place that can do with train service. They are producing, they are working at producing large quantities of grain. What I'm hoping to do is automate the collection of their crops and then put in flour processing at the mill, which right now is a nice structure but doesn't actually do anything. I could replace that with a Create windmill and have them loading bulk flour aboard the train to be taken to the kitchens, because there is another there is another place here. There's the factory, and then it's supposed to be doing food as well as minerals. Now they've only got did I just okay, no, I just crossed under the broad gauge. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. By the way, the phrase I used at the beginning of the stream was Lithuanian and means new phone who dis. This village needs a lot of work before I can do anything at all with it. I'm not even going to bother getting out of the train here. Let's move on. Oh, Union Station. Up. There we go. Get the camera back to where I need it. Union Station is going to be the big passenger depot, which is a little bit of a problem because I'm going the wrong direction coming into it. Need my cars to open on this side. What I'm probably going to do is put doors on this side, and then I think I can set the train so that the doors only open on one side or the other. Let's look at the station. I seem to recall there being a thing that would allow me to do some stuff like that. There's the station. Find it. Let's see. Yeah, open all. There we go. Yeah, I'm facing west. So if I open west side only, that should take care of the problem. Let's go west side only. Check. And hey, the east side door is closed. All right. Now I need doors on the west side. Let's go put in doors on the west side. Go to the workshop. Oops. I think we just hit a pig. Unfortunately, that happens. Which is why you have what Create calls a pilot on the prow of the train, and what most Americans would call a cow catcher. I've said it before, it's not a cow catcher so much as a cow flinger. It is designed to get the cow off the track and out of the way of the train at the convenience of the train. It's not concerned with survival of the cow. Mind you, if the cow is on the tracks, it's probably not going to survive anyway. This is why you have fences. Oh shoot, there we go. Take it around onto the spur, which hits another pig. Dang nabbit. Gee, Jehoshaphat, what's going on here? Alright, I need to take this up to that. I got it onto the spur. I don't know why I'm stopped here. Let's move on up to the here we go. To the spur parking. Okay, wow. 2 pigs and a chicken in one trip. Jeez. Okay, hey, you know, roadkill, it can be edible. Oh, however, you should cook it first. Yeah, stay off of there, sheep. You really do need to stay off of there. I'm in need of putting doors in. Now, to put in the doors, I should be able to just go grab a door. Let's see. Have you got a door? Have you got a door? You've got a train door. That'll work. Grab the train door. Off back to the spur here and disassemble the train. Come down to the passenger car. And I want it here. Oh, sugar. Let me flip to creative mode here and just pop that. There. And it just glues right in. Thank you. Always nice when it works. Pop that in. And reassemble the train. And then back her off of the spur line. Always want to put her on the spur line to work on her rather than on the at the unloading station because I run the risk of getting tangled up with the unloading machinery. I've had problems with it getting glued to the train before. It's embarrassing when you go to drive away and half your unloading system is like glued to the train. And it is pouring out. Oh, Lordy. They said possibility of heavy rainfall today. Let's go. No, I didn't take it back far enough. Got to take it back. Clear of the curve, then forward, at which point it should ignore the curve because I'm not holding down the switch button here. Actually, I don't want to approach. I want to blow straight through, and I want to head back on around to Union Station. So we're going to drive the train for a few minutes, get around to Union Station, and see if the door is open on the correct side. I don't know why I didn't put doors on both sides in the first place. It would have solved some problems with some of the other villages, which it's not too late. I haven't built the stations. I can still go back and put the passenger platform on the other side. Oh. I'm hoping that the birdage story was the one that was pending. We'll see. Part of my problem here is that I've completed several tasks and I'm kind of a little at loose ends trying to figure out where I'm going from here. I know I need to do stuff. I've got a lot of detailing to do. I need to go back and put truss columns under some of the mining elevators. I need to put in lighting in a bunch of these tunnels. Oh, shoot. I need fences. Oh, Lordy, I need fences at a couple places. I got a couple spots where I keep running into wildlife or livestock or whatever, and I need fences. The infrastructure, though, is pretty much done. It's just a matter of prettying it up. The infra loop with the broad gauge rail, pretty much done. Schedules are running, trains are running, resources are being brought in. I need to make sure of what's going on with emeralds, make sure that they're loading correctly. Had trouble with them before. Thought I fixed it. There need to be crew platforms, crew sheds, work areas in the tunnels with, safety zones and marked in yellow concrete. There's a lot of detailing to be done. Alright, skip tostones. I'm hungry. There we go. Coming in. Auto approach on. Okay, my cab door is closed, which is fine. Passenger doors on this side are closed. Passenger doors on this side are open. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Ha, look at that. Look at that. All right. Fucking A. All right, all right, all right. Fantastic. Actually safer to do in creative because of the efficiency on the shovel. There we go. Pop all of that and clear that out so that I can get to this. This is where the main passenger platform is going to be. This is the passenger platform for your Union Station. Right here. There's, let's see, there was a feature, I think it's around on this side. Oh no. Here we go. This is where I want the public entrance to be. That you're coming in. Yeah. This feels like it ought to be the main entrance. Clear that. So, big arch doorways instead of windows. Gonna replace all that. And extend from there out and put a grand stairway on or something. Figure it out. Let's see, what time is it? What have I got going here? Need to quit driving the train around for a few and let my heat come down is what I need to do. Part of the problem with running this is that it's very processor intensive. I have so much force loaded right now. Just to make all this work. All of the mines have to be force loaded, as you saw earlier. I was looking at the emerald mine. And there's 9 of them. So that's at least 9 chunks force loaded right there. 10 if, because of emerald. Some of the workshop is force loaded. Some of the factory, I think all the factory is force loaded. I think the whole building is force loaded. That's a lot of thumping on the system here, especially in a single player world. All right, I'm going to go creative for a minute so that I can tear this out without causing a lot of debris. What I want to do here is rip out the glass here and the wood here. I need dark oak log. Dark oak log. We'll continue it on across like that. And then all right, we'll figure this out. What in the heck is that? This is coming in under the stairs? Is this the... That's the stairs to the third floor. Okay, yippee. A little awkward. Hadn't thought about that, but we'll work with it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, there should be some sort of platform here and then stairs down. And do I want the platform of metal? Yeah, I think I do, in order to contrast. I have several options for catwalk. There is andesite. Copper is a little much. Zinc, maybe not. Industrial iron would be interesting. Brass is going to take too much cleaning. Industrial iron it is. We grab this, we toss this, we grab this. And I need to remove these three on across so that the doorways are there. All right. This works like windmill sail, meaning annoyingly. What I want is to have it going down, but that's putting it going up. No. I want it on the edge here, on the side here. That's not it either. What is... No. I want to go to the side. All right. Let's just figure this out. 2, 3. Down a step, down a all right, come down a step here, come down a step here, come down a step here, and you're gonna land here. Figuring out these silly steps here. All right. Okay. Come over here and 1 over on here. Put it here, here, and here. That where I want it? How much space from that? No, it's 2 over from there. Okay. All right, now remember how this works. Generally goes on the edge you're pointing at. I don't remember. Yeah, it does. Good. Automatic stair railing. Yes, thank you. Okay. Alrighty, that's got that basically roughed in. It's not great. This is a sketch. This gives me the idea of it at least. I can go back and replace the catwalk with something a little more solid, maybe. I'm thinking oak slab would be good here. That catwalk is a little too see-through. That's going to make people kind of nervous. Civilians are going to be a little twitchy about walking over that much open grid metal. And then there's the fact that the stairway is right here, and you kind of, yeah, I'm kind of borked there. I'll figure it out. I want this to be the main entrance, damn it. It's got the architectural setting for it. It needs to be the front entrance with the platform being around the side. I'll get it figured out. In the meantime, let's go back to the factory and look at the map. Emerald Queen is there. Villa Rafinha just left. Let's run in and see if she dropped off any emeralds, and if so, are they still processing? I really want to see the diamonds and emeralds processing, but the odds are kind of against me here. I kind of got to be here when they arrive. They go quick. I mean, we're getting them, but yeah. Okay, while I'm in creative mode and doing some renovation, let's go on and start removing the dirt over here. While I can do it in a more controlled fashion. And not create debris for myself. Oops, busted my cog. Oh well, this board was going to go anyway. Let's see, I definitely want to remove all of that. It's all got to go. I need, I want a nice smooth corner here. Not a... Ideally, I need to be thinking about where I'm putting the elevator, because it's going to go in this area. This is, I think, where I was going to put auto crafting. Put the elevator here. Put it right in the middle of auto crafting, which is not necessarily not the worst. Auto crafting is going to go on on the far side of the space. But there's no third floor here. Third floor is well back. Elevator will not go up to the third floor. What's on the ground floor in this area? I need to know that before I go any further. I've already run into a problem over in Union Station. Okay, I've just got open hallway and a forge. I'm gonna leave the forge alone. Yeah, the elevator could go here with no problem. I could put the elevator here and have it just sitting right out like this. This would be no problem. Thinking somewhere in this, like here. We'll poke a hole there so I've got a marker. Where does that put me? That puts me... Oh, beautiful. There. Which sends me down into this, which is actually not necessarily a bad thing. Let's go. I'm going to do a quick bit of world edit here. Just put in and just take this whole thing out real quick. Where is my wooden axe? Yo-ho wooden axe. Okay. Pause 1. Pause 2. Boop. Okay. Whoops. Undo. Oh shit. Whew, fortunately I was in creative and just got pushed rather than killed. Navigation succeeded. Phew. Okay. Oopsie. Yeah, gonna have to rethink this. Can't take that out. From this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's go to like from like here. Now try it again. Bip. God damn it, I got it again. Undo. Factory Broad Station. Alright. Get it fixed here. Pause 2 should have been here. Right? That? There we go. Okay, that took out one of the display links, but that's okay. Oops. It took out one of the display links and but that's okay. We can do a new display link easy enough. Go here, and I need observer. The thing is, world edit is dangerous. I really have got to be much less casual about it. And I need a display link. I just was looking at it. There it is. Okay, we do that's the station. So we do train observer here, and train observer can go there. And then, why am I fixing the display links? The board's borked. I just realized. Why am I fixing the display links? Deal with them later. The board is trashed until I get the, there we go. Until I get the elevator put in. Okey doke. Go inside and work on this from there. Take it out of creative a minute here. And alright. Elevator pulley. I need to make an elevator pulley. I need dried kelp block. Dried kelp block is made. And I make an elevator pulley. There we go. I hope I have the mod to make the elevators. I'm going to be embarrassed if I don't. I'll have to go back and add it. Why am I not seeing it? Let's just look at controllers here in general. I've got traction, rotation, train, jetpack, signal. This funny feeling to do an elevator. I suspect I may be missing a mod. There's the elevator pulley. Bearing, chassis, controls, deployer, train signals, all the train stuff. Why am I not seeing There should be a block that should be a call button. I mean, I'm missing some stuff here. Okay, create stuff and additions. No, that's not got it. Train editions isn't going to have it. Factory is just food. Botany pots. Botany pots will not save you now. Crafts and additions. Oh. What am I missing? There's the copper door. That should be the folding door. Feel like I'm looking at it and not seeing it. That's central kitchen. That's enchantment industry. Garnished isn't going to have what I need. Connected. Key, crank wheel, converted clutch. Brake, freewheel clutch. Inventory, bridge, inventory access port. That's just a chunk loader, which I'm not even using. I should remove power loader. I'm not using it. Factory must grow. Has a lot of cool shit, but I don't think it doesn't have the elevator pieces that I'm looking for. Building blocks. Racks. Navigation succeeded. The light. Oh, I don't have the mod I need to make the elevators. Amazing. How did I manage that? Alright, who just pulled in here? It's easier just to go look. That's Bila Rafinha. Let's go to the processing room and see if she's unloaded any jewels. There we go. You can see it at work. Raw emerald comes in. Raw diamond comes in. And it takes it a minute. But the mechanical saw is capable of cutting industrial diamonds. Give that a little thought. We're just, leaving that thing sitting out in the open like this. Interesting that I only see the blade turning if I point to it. Same with that one. I'm only seeing the blades turning while I'm pointing to the saw. Conservation of resources there a little bit. Oh yeah, heat is back down. Yeah, quit driving the train around. That helps. So, yeah, we've seen how the raw diamond that comes in from the mine and the raw emerald gets converted into usable materials. And it's all being gathered and delivered automatically thanks to create or excavation. I have at this point completed the overworld part of that mod. I have all 9 resources that it covers in the overworld being mined and delivered to the factory. There are 3 resources in the Nether, but running trains into the Nether is in the plans, but it's a ways down. I got to get a lot more stuff going first. I need to be moving some of the foodstuffs at some point and start thinking about the central kitchen. Because part of my goal is to supply food to Union Station. Let's go back to the workshop. You know, I've already got all this stuff going. Got this thing going that makes coffee, that roasts coffee beans. I've got my picklers, which right now aren't doing pickles. Let's see. Let's get cucumbers. Cucumbers. Give me a stack of cucumbers and drop them in here. And then I need lots of cucumbers, so I'm going to go to the backpack and backpack all of this nonsense that I've been working with. And we're going to pull cucumbers and get them loaded in for pickling. I haven't tended to my auto pickler in a while. I can see this. So we're going to drop that in and then top that up and then drop this in. Okay. Down here, grab a bunch more cucumbers. Throw them in. Come down here and get me... Where's my salt compound? Grab a couple of salt compounds and more cucumbers. I've got thousands. Go. Get that all loaded up so that we are processing pickles for a while. Gonna have to do the same thing here for the onions. Onions, got thousands. And we will just swap that out for that, and that'll get it pickling. Right? Yes. There we go. That gets it pickling. Load that with onions. Load that with onions and salt, and then give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more onions. Seven stacks more onions. Delivered. Okay. Beetroot. Making pickled beetroot. Want to pull out that salt compound and put it in here. There we are. Okay. Got my cucumbers and onions and pickled beetroot going again. Got that reloaded. This doesn't really need to have anything done with it. It just produces stuff. I want to send a bunch of this I'm not wanting to unload massive amounts of shit here. I'm wanting to load massive amounts of shit and send it to the factory. And I could very easily drop it in any of the cars that are already here. Because I can drop a whole mess of stuff into one car. It doesn't have to be a single item. All right, I need to bring out the cucumbers, the pickles. I have got pickles, pickled beetroot, and pickled onions by the thousands. They need to be shipped to the factory to be made into food to be shipped over to Union Station. So, I could use the existing broad gauge rail here. I just need to put a marker down here. Okay, that marks where those are. Really only need one, I think. Okay. I have a loader. I mean, we've seen this before at any of the mines. What I want to do then is to bring out the stuff from here that I want to unload, that I want to put in. And I'm thinking run a Tom's cable out there and then just run multiple hoppers. I've done that before. And dispense directly into the boxes. Let's get out the bits here that I'm going to need. I'm going to want that. And I'm done with that. And I'm going to want, where's my diamond chest and the shaft and the mechanical belt. And let's just put that in here. Now, I'm not going to need a round robin distributor. What I'm going to need is 3 belts here. Brass funnel, because possibility of large quantities arriving does exist. And I don't remember if I can drop directly into a chute from a Tom's out from a Tom's or not. We're gonna find out. Think I can, but I'm not totally sure of it. Now my cable is to run underground or something, or you know, up over the train. All this train stuff going. I'll run it from up here somewhere out to here. And then I got to power that. I'm going to put a creative motor on it for right now for proof of concept. We'll figure it out. If it works, then I'll bring out power from somewhere else. But I'm going to go and stick a creative motor on it for right now. No. That way. There we go. All right. No, I don't like that. I want to bring it down and send it into the ground here. No, here. Although it'll help to have this. But I can dig down. Then I have to figure out where it's coming from over here. That has to come out along this line. What is this? 3776. Okay, I need to write that down. Three 776. Write that down. And what I'm going to do then, think about where my storage is, and where the cables for it are, and so forth. Be upstairs on this one. Did I put my storage upstairs? I mean, centralizing it in the building would make sense. I just don't remember where I put it. Well, here's a hole. Where's that go? Down here. I have to remember where I put things. All right. But we are reaching the top of the hour. Top of the hour means it is time to bring up the in-break screen and say farewell. And thank you for being here. It has been spectacular. As always, there's been trains driven, there's been signals, there's been all sorts of goodies going on. There will be more goodies going on next week. If you have enjoyed this stream, previous VODs are on YouTube at the link in the lower right of your screen. You'll find a lot of Minecraft there, as well as various other games. Speaking of other games, community streaming schedule in the upper left. I am part of a team of streamers, the truck community. We have a lot of people, and we have a lot of games going out on a daily basis. Stuff in the afternoon, stuff in the evening, and, I end up doing Saturday morning because that's where Minecraft landed. So, check out the schedule. Check out the VODs. Thank you for being here. I will be back tomorrow night, Sunday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time with Roots of Pacha, which is a cozy farm sim and dating sim that is everything Stardew Valley wanted to be. Bless Stardew Valley. They created a wonderful thing. They had a major achievement. Roots of Pacha takes it the next step further and starts looking at, among other things, what happens when a Neolithic society develops agriculture. Yeah, you're inventing it, not just putting in a farm. The whole thing. Speaking of inventing, I'll be back next Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, with more Minecraft trains and tech, and hopefully a little more together. I don't know. I'm kind of squirrely this morning. You know how it goes. But you got to see a lot of stuff, and I did a lot of stuff, and we'll see how it goes next Saturday. See you then. Until then,